Okay, here we are going to see the objectives of audit. Okay, what is an objective of audit? I mean, like, what is the purpose of audit? When it comes to the auditor, what is his purpose for this audit? What he has to do? What is his end goal, or what is the end result? What is that he wants from his work? So that is the objective of audit for the auditor and for the company as well, and for the stakeholders also. What do they want out of an auditor, out of an audit as a process? And the audit அப்படிங்கிற மூலமா what is the end goal that we want to reach? Okay, that is called as the objectives of audit அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். So first I'll explain you some 5 or 6 keywords, okay, without knowing the meaning of which you will not be able to easily understand the objectives of audit. Okay, so first I'll tell you what is called as a reasonable assurance. Okay, first you just forget that we are reading about the objectives of audit and all that. I will teach you some 5 to 6 words, okay, and the meaning of that. You try to understand, assimilate, and understand. Try to make it as your own vocabulary, okay. And then I will read out the entire definition or entire objectives of audit. You will be able to, okay, pinpoint, or you will be able to fix the puzzle fix பண்ண முடியும். So first I will teach you the puzzle card one by one. For example, there are totally 6 cards of puzzle. Once you understand the importance of all the 6 cards separately, you will be able to assemble it. So first, puzzle number 1. Puzzle number 1 என்னன்னா reasonable assurance. So first you should know what do you mean by assurance, or what do you mean by reasonable assurance. For example, if I leave my kid to my mother to take care of my kid, or to take care of my daughter, I am just giving my daughter to my mother. Take care, mommy, okay, of my daughter, please take care of my daughter sollte I am just giving my daughter to my mother, and I am going home. What is the assurance that my mother gives to me? My mother gives me a complete assurance. An assurance, complete, full assurance that I will take care of the baby no matter what. I will take care of the baby no matter what. Is what a mother, is what a grandmother gives an assurance to me. Correct? This is called as complete, full, entire, super assurance. Correct assurance, full assurance. Okay, and then I leave the baby to a crèche where their business is to take care of the baby. Okay, they will give me a reasonable assurance. I will take care, I will make sure that the baby doesn't cry. I will make sure that I give the baby whatever food that you have given to me to feed her. Okay, I will make sure that she is not hurt. I will take care of the baby, but not as like that of my mother. Correct? So crèche gives me an assurance that it will take care of the baby to a reasonable basis, but my mother will take care of the baby like she is the precious thing on earth, which means it is a complete, full assurance. Mother gives it to me. Crèche gives me a reasonable assurance, because crèche has 30 to 40 kids in their premises. They have to give a reasonable attention to all the kids over there, so they will be able to give reasonable assurance to all the kids. But my mother is going to take care of only my daughter, so she will give me complete assurance. So what is the reasonable assurance that is expected of an auditor? An auditor can give reasonable assurance that the financial statements are so and so. What is the reasonable assurance? See, there were 7,000 transactions. I did not see all the 7,000 transactions. Using my experience, okay, or using my intelligence, or using my analytical approach or strategy, I have around 3,000 transactions I have checked. Out of the 3,000 transactions, it is like a sample, no? Out of 7,000 transactions, I have taken nearly 3,000 transactions, and I have checked the 3,000 transactions in depth. From whatever I have learned from that 3,000 transaction, I can give an opinion that everything is okay. But that okay is not 100% okay. It is only 30% or 40% coverage of all the transaction. Here, what do we try to tell? It is like a crèche which is taking care of 40 audits, or it is like a crèche which is taking care of a numerous engagements. So here I cannot give my entire recruitment, or entire human resource, or my entire energy, or my entire time of the full year only to audit of only one company. That is not feasible, that is not viable. So there are 2 types of assurance. One is complete, full 100%. You know, reasonably. What is it? Reasonable assurance that to my effort, or to my opinion, or to my how do you call it? To my how do you call that, என்னோட திருப்திக்குன்னு சொல்லுவோம்ல, நான் திருப்தி ஆயிட்டேன்ப்பா, ஓகே, அந்த மாதிரி. It is like to your confirmation, to your composure, you're giving that. That is called as reasonable assurance. Okay, okay, you're giving an assurance, or you have to get that assurance from the financial statement. Okay, see, எப்பவுமே auditors என்ன பண்ணணும்னா, he should get that, okay, கொஞ்சமாவது he should get that assurance, okay, everything is fineங்கிறது he should be convinced first of all. That is why you call, once you are reasonably comfortable that the financial statements are fine and okay and good, then that is okay என்ற மாதிரி சொல்லுவாங்க. இதுதான் the meaning, reasonable assurance. Number 2, what do you mean by a misstatement? Misstatement என்ன என்னது? Statement என்ன என்னது? Statement is depicting or representing or telling you whatever is happening. Fact அப்படியே கொடுத்தா அது statement. Fact manipulate பண்ணா, fact twist turn பண்ணா, that is called as misstatement. For example, instead of putting 109 rupees, I am saying 110 rupees. Whether this is a misstatement? Yes, it is a misstatement. Yes, it is a misstatement because I bought it for 109. 109 ரூபாய்க்கு I bought 109 rupees. I am saying that I have purchased it for 110. Is this a misstatement? Yes, it is a misstatement because had I made it as 110, okay, or if I have recorded it as 109, it is perfectly stated. Perfect statement. Statement. 110 misstatement. Yes. Now, if I bought one, one dustbin, and that is 109, and I have made it as 110 or 120, 130, is it a misstatement? Yes, it is a misstatement. Is it intentional or unintentional? It depends. Sometimes it is intentional, sometimes it is unintentional because it is an error you did not do with an intention of having a fraudulent activity. Okay, you did not scheme things, you did not organize it, you did not do a sophisticated organization of a crime thing. No, nothing you did. Instead of typing 109, you typed 119, something like that. Okay, it is a mistake. Nobody denies that. Yes, it is a mistake. Is it a misstatement? Yes, it is a misstatement. But there is a question of materiality. What is materiality? For example, I bought only one dustbin and the rate is 109 and I have entered it as 110 or 120, something like that. Okay, it is a misstatement, no doubt. It might be error or fraud. Even I want to make a fraudulent activity and I have to take 10 rupees out of my pocket, out of the company's pocket. But if you bought only one dustbin and the amount you have overcasted the transaction, that is transaction amount is 109. You increase the transaction amount by 1 rupee or 10 rupee. No, that is overcasting. Overcast பண்ணி போட்டாச்சு 110. Now, this is an error, or this might be an error or fraud, intentional or unintentional. Okay, this is a misstatement. But what has to be taken care of? That this should not be highly material. For example, one dustbin, 1 rupee overcast, not a big deal for the big company. But you have bought 109 rupees, you have bought raw materials and 2 lakh components of raw materials you bought. So if you have bought 2 lakh units of raw materials, and for every unit 1 rupee is overcasted, totally the overcasted amount is 2 lakh rupees, which is a bed amount. Which means it is not about 1 rupee overcasting in one unit. You have to take care, or you have to give more attention to it. Whether there is only one dustbin I bought, on that 1 rupee is overstated, that is not a big deal. But I have overstated 1 rupee for every unit of 2 lakh units of raw materials I bought. So totally, if I just increase the value of raw material by 1 rupee, I can take 2 lakh rupees home. Jaliya. அப்படிங்கிறத நம்ம பார்க்கணும். அதுதான் statement, misstatement. Statement 109, misstatement 110. Okay, that 110, whether it is intentional or unintentional. Intentional fraud, unintentional error. Okay, unintentional or intentional, it is 110 போட்டாச்சு. Now it is material or non-material? Material. எப்போ material? I have bought 1 lakh or 2 lakh or 3 lakh units of raw material. For every unit 1 rupee is overstated, it is material. But I bought one dustbin, 109 rupees I bought. I thought I will put it as 110, rounding off effect, or 120 or 130, something I have done. Material? It's not so material because you bought only 1 unit of dustbin, that's not a big deal, leave it. Which means these are the key words that you have to remember, that you have to understand. What is the meaning of, what is the meaning? What is the word? Material misstatement. Financial statement. Material misstatement இல்லாம இருக்கணும். It should not be materially misstated. Material misstatement எப்படி நடக்கும்? ஒன்று fraud இல்ல error நால தான் நடக்கும் அப்படின்னு சொல்றோம். Okay, And then what is the next important word in Kita? Financial reporting framework. That's a framework. Financial reporting. What is a financial reporting? You have financial information. And the financial information, what is it? Balance sheet, P&L account, and books of accounts. For all the transactions recorded, that's a financial information, financial statement. This financial information or financial statement should be presented in such a fashion that is expected of you. Who is expecting from you? Who is expecting you that the financial statements or the financial information or the books of accounts should be presented in this fashion? This is the framework through which you have to present every details. CA Institute will tell you. CA Institute will tell you through the auditing standard, accounting standard, and then the international auditing body, accounting body, auditing body, everybody will frame a lot of rules and regulations for you. All the rules and regulations should be taken into account, and all the financial information, financial statement, and books of account, everything should be prepared and presented in that fashion which is expected from you. And the expected pattern, fashion, adukku per enna financial reporting framework. Who's reporting it? Finance or financial information or financial statement is being reported by the management. They are doing the financial reporting, and what I do as an auditor, I give my opinion onto that. So the entire financial information or financial statement or books of accounts should be reported to whom? To the stakeholders. You the financial information is samarpikra. To whom do you surrender it? To whom do you submit it? To whom do you show it? To whom do you present it? Presentation யாருக்கு கொடுக்க போறோம்? To the stakeholders. Who are your stakeholders? Shareholder இருக்காங்க, debenture holders, உன்னோட creditors, everybody who is interested in your company, they are called as your stakeholders. SEBI is expecting your information. SEBI is looking at your information. Other competitors are looking at your information. The general public is looking at your information. Everybody who is interested in your information, they are called as your stakeholders. Every stakeholder, you are presenting the information in what framework? Financial reporting framework will be given to you. In the framework, you have to present and prepare. Prepare and present. The regulatory body will tell you. And the regulatory body in a framework, and the framework you present. Do you understand? These are all the important keywords. Communications as required. What do you mean by communication? Auditor, once he does the audit, he has the responsibility to communicate. For suppose Bharat Pele, there is a very big fraudulent activity that has taken place. As an auditor, I have a responsibility to report that fraud activity to SEBI if it is a listed company. If it is not a listed company, but still the fraudulent activity is a very big scale, I should report to the appropriate authority. That is the communication. Do you understand? I have to communicate it. And if there is any problem in the financial statement or financial information, I should report it. I should write a report. Either to the management or to the stakeholders or to the general public. I should do the reporting. I should do the reporting, I should do the communication. This is as an auditor I should do. Do you understand? Have you understood the keywords? What are the keywords? I have told you the keywords are reasonable assurance. You have this material misstatement. I have told you what is a fraud, what is an error. Okay, and we have talked about the financial reporting framework, and I have told you have to report and you have to communicate. Okay, these are all the keywords. Do you understand? These are all the keywords. Now we will look at the objectives of an audit. Okay, I will just show you the screen. I will share the screen with you. Okay, so this is your screen, and this is telling you the objectives of audit. Okay, I'm sorry. This tells you the objective of audit. You can read it here. One more thing is that there is something called as standards on auditing. What is a standard on auditing? What is a standard? What is a standard protocol? Standard means you have to do this work only in this way. Somebody is standardizing everything, right? Who standardizes the auditing protocol? Who standardizes the way of auditing? CA Institute does. Okay. Later on, matha information but now remember standards on auditing. SA auditing standardized rule. That's standardized, standards on auditing. You have lots and lots of standards. Okay, we'll deal with that later on. But now remember, there is one standard called as SA 200. Standards on auditing 200. What 200 says to you? That's rule number 1. Standards on auditing 200. What they say? Overall objective. overall objective on the whole what is an auditor expected to do or what is an audit expected to do அப்படினு கேட்டா overall objectives of an independent auditor. Who is an independent auditor? Who is not at all connected to the company. For example, now if I am a chartered accountant and I'm employed by Reliance company to see whether the internal management of the company, internal account, bookkeeping and all, everything is being done in the proper fashion. I'm an internal auditor. Whether the accounting as a work or bookkeeping or books of accounts are maintained by the Reliance உடைய accounting wing இருக்குல்ல, accounting department ன்னு இருப்பாங்க. அங்க இருக்கிற accounting staff and personலாம் whether they working well or not அப்படிங்கிறதுக்கு to oversee the work of Reliance, okay, there is a separate department called as audit department in the Reliance company itself. That audit department is called as internal audit department. That auditor, what he will do? He will take care that the people of the accounting department do not fudge the accounts. They do not do any malfunction or misstatement illa pannama. Who will take care? Internal audit department will take care, so that the company as a whole is shielding itself from the accounts department or from the officials there. Do you understand? But what I do as an auditor is different from that internal auditor. Internal auditor is appointed by the Reliance company. He is working for the company. I work as an independent professional to give my opinion on their financial statement. I am an independent auditor. அப்ப SA 200 says that overall objective of an independent auditor is what அப்படினு கேட்டா there are two parts. Part number 1 என்னது? To obtain see what is the overall objective of the auditor, independent audit என்னது? The overall objective of an independent auditor is that to obtain reasonable assurance. என்ன நானே convince பண்ணனும். I should be convinced. அதுதான் இதுக்கு அர்த்தம். To obtain reasonable assurance that whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement. 109 இருக்குது, 109, 110, no problem. Okay, but 109 turned into 110 for 2 lakh units, problem, misstatement. Whether fraud or error, I don't mind, but it is misstatement. That is a material misstatement. When it is of a highly material consequence, I have to take care. Appo, what's the overall objective? The overall objective is to obtain reasonable assurance. Who has to obtain reasonable assurance? The auditor has to obtain the reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error. But the end result should not be materially misstated. Do you understand? So, my objective, that is as an independent auditor, my objective is that to obtain a reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, thereby enabling me, that is enabling the auditor to express an opinion. An opinion on what? To express an opinion whether the financial statements that is all prepared, in all the material aspects in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework. The way in which the regulatory body is asking us to prepare and present the financial statements. அந்த மாதிரி financial statements எல்லாம் இருக்கான்னு செக் பண்ண வேண்டியது யாரோட கடமை? ஆடிட்டரோட கடமை. அதான் அவங்களோட objective. The objective is to obtain a reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements are prepared. Okay, whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, thereby enabling the auditor. நம்மள enable பண்ணது எதுக்கு? இதெல்லாம் அப்ப free from material misstatement, whether by fraud or error. Okay, reasonable assurance, I've got that. It is free from material misstatement, whether by fraud or error, thereby enabling me to express an opinion on whether the financial statements are prepared in all the material aspects in accordance with the what? Applicable financial reporting framework. Applicable FRF ன்னு சொல்லுவோம். FRF, financial reporting framework. Okay, and second அடுத்தது என்னன்னா, he has to report it and he has to communicate it as required with the standards on auditing. Okay ma, இதுதான். This is what is called as objectives of audit. What is it? It is called as objectives of audit. I hope you found this part very useful. This video is as useful as the other videos. I hope you find it more helping you towards preparation of exam. Okay, so what is the objectives of audit? You have some keywords: reasonable assurance, material misstatement, fraud or error, and then you had this applicable financial reporting framework, and then I told you about the communication and the reporting. So everything. So you have to what is the overall objective of the auditor? It is to report to the financial, it is to report on the financial statements and to report and to communicate on the financial statement as required by the standards on auditing. Now, whatever we have found as an auditor, okay, we will be having some auditor findings. According to that auditor's findings, the auditor has to report, he has to communicate, and also he has to obtain a reasonable assurance as to whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement, okay, whether due to fraud or error, thereby enabling the auditor to express an opinion as to whether the financial statements are prepared, okay, whether the financial statements are prepared in all material respects, okay, in accordance with an applicable financial reporting framework. I hope you have found this useful, and in the next class, okay, in the next session, I'll be helping you with the next topic, okay. So this is all about the overall objectives of an independent auditor, SA 200. Thank you so much. Please do like, share and subscribe.